They actually happen to come in. A lot of people here. Bill's only here to listen, so I thought myself to walk.
Oh, I know.
We tried to get the boards out, but they said, no, we're not opening up. No way.
But yeah, you gotta, it's amazing how much they cleaned up out of there. Yes.
Sunday was our dinner and presentation. And so we had a little get together. That's why they're asking.
Those are nice.
Did they show up okay in there? Because they really look good on the digital PDF, the ones that they submitted, Well, they looked, and I'm not sure whose report that. I think that came under Robbie's report. Yeah.
I don't have one young enough for that anymore. So.
That house is sold really well, but I think it's that there's that big house back there. There's like a tree row and a long row. They have like horses and stuff there. That's awesome.
Yes. Oh, I'm the officer. What's his last name? Dave. I feel like I saw more. Well, we got a minute.
Yeah, we got about 5 seconds.
Oh, I need to change my watch then.
You can leave it on tap. Freaking A, man.
Yeah. I thought that was only, I could be wrong. I thought that was only off. Valley Center, Valley Center City Council meeting for February 7th, 2023 is now in session. Roll call.
Mayor Cicerillo.
Here.
Councilmember Stam.
Here.
Councilmember Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Bass.
Here.
Councilmember Anderson. Councilmember Gregory.
Here.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
Here.
Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Colbert.
Here.
I do not see a member. Oh. Please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father God, we come before you this evening. We're thankful for this community that you have blessed us with. Father, we're thankful for the servants of this community, from the mayor to the council, to the first responders, to the city employees, Lord. Father, bless them for all that they do. You keep this community beautiful and a great place to live. Father, I just ask you bless them. Lord, just give them wisdom to be good stewards of our community, as well as the fellow citizens. Please lift your name up tonight. We thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Council, there's been an addition to the agenda. Item E under new business, signature card update has been added.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Thank you. Administration agenda, City Council meeting minutes of January 17th, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes of the January 17th, 2023 regular council meeting as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to, we don't have any presentations or proclamations, so this is the time in the council meeting that we open it up to anybody here that would like to speak to an item that is not on the agenda. Seeing none, we will move along. I do have an appointment. Actually, it's a change on the Richard Ranzow as the USD 262 representative. May I have a
So moved.
Second.
motion and a second to replace Richard Ranzow with Mike McCormick on the Pool Rec Center Steering Committee. All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Council, I'm battling at the end of a cold here, so I apologize. We have no old business. Moving on to new business. Item A, Kansas Collegiate Baseball Association funding request.
Good evening, council. It's always a fun time when I get to come back and chat with you guys. It reminds me that it's still cold outside, but baseball season is right around the corner. So it is getting ready to gear up for us. Obviously, we're always doing stuff year round, but super excited to kind of come and talk and just kind of give you guys an update. For those of you that may not remember me or don't know me, my name is Sheldon Howe. I'm the president of the Valley Center Mud Daubers. I believe we're going into our 7th year here in Valley Center in the summertime. So super excited to be back and be working and excited for the community engagement and all the things that we're trying to plan for 2023. And I sent over, so hopefully you guys were able to get this and kind of just look through that. I won't go through every little detail that we put in there, but a couple of the key things that I wanted to talk about from last year that we were able to do. One big thing that we do here every single year is our kids camp. It's a massive success. It's one of the biggest kids camps that is ran throughout our entire league. We do plan to do that again for this upcoming season, so we are excited about that. We had over 150 athletes last year, so we work directly with the rec here, and we go to the sports meetings and talk with them and talk with the coaches. The other cool thing that we were actually able to do from that is we had a couple of the youth teams that took us up on our offer of coming out and just practicing with us, which was kind of a new initiative that we launched last year, trying to just get into the communities with the Little League baseball teams. And we opened it up to softball as well. But we had a couple of those teams come out and practice with us out at the field. We don't charge them anything for that. They just come and they're able to integrate with our guys and be able to have fun out there for an evening or a daytime whenever it works for them. But the other cool thing that we had last year, which was kind of the first year that we had this, was we had a lot of our guys that worked with the Parks and Rec department. They were working with the city and actually, kind of trying to give back on that side as well, which we want to continue that relationship and keep trying to build that from a year-to-year perspective. So just on that, as far as the update is concerned, those were some of the key things that we were able to do last year and ready, and willing and wanting to do them again this year. So this year, if you navigate to the ask page, we have a $5,000 ask is what we were asking for. We've thrown around a few different ideas on some different things that we're trying to do this year, but as always, we want to try and get more engaged in the community, get more people to come out to the games and find ways to give back to our local youth community. That's ultimately kind of the idea behind how we do things. And I know it'll take a couple of permits and some different things there, but we have thrown the idea around of trying to do a fireworks show this year. I think that it would be a really cool thing if we were able to do that. I am also trying to plan with the high school team, with Coach Robertson. I'm trying to plan out kind of a scrimmage, if you will, where we play against those guys and then we give the proceeds of that game back to the high school program. And I think that'd be a really cool thing to do a fireworks show at. I think we could get a lot of the community to come out to that. Their families would come out to that. We could honor those guys on the field. They get a chance to play college level baseball players from across the country. They get to understand what that next jump's really going to look like if they're serious about trying to play. And then we can just enrich those ties into the community. So and we don't know all of the details on all of that. I know I got some permits. I got to ask some questions, not only from the city, but also with the school district there as well too. But that would be something that we're really interested in trying to do. I think that'd be an awesome opening day kind of celebration that we could hopefully make kind of an annual thing. And then we also threw around the idea on here. What does that aid in? Obviously, it helps with our field fee, operating expenses, just everything that goes into running the organization. But then in return, we also threw in there trying to do like a community business buyout night. And I know that Eric is no longer with the chamber, and I'll get plugged into that with all the changes there. But I do want to do something with the chamber businesses and try to have, some sort of a thing where they can come out. It can be an outreach event for them. Doesn't cost them any money. They're able to come out and just be a part of the community in another community event. It's fun for our guys if we have more people out at the games. They feel like there's more community there to watch them, and we're trying to fill the stadium or fill the stands. So some of the things that we put inside of that, are giving tickets back to those businesses, a free booth setup, free hot dogs, trying to just incentivize some people to come out and have a fun time at the game. Season passes for all the city employees and their families. And then again, the kids camp, which I already kind of mentioned on there. So we would love the opportunity to continue to partner with you guys. And honestly, we're open to any ideas. If you guys have anything that you would like us to be more involved with, as I always say, I got, 30 laborers that show up for June and July and we're willing to work. But they don't get here until then and they leave pretty promptly right afterwards. So I don't have a ton of manpower until we get to the summertime, but we're more than willing to, be in the community, do whatever you guys may have planned, or if there's any other things to, keep us in the loop with, I guess, we're more than willing to be involved. So, and with that, I'll kind of open it up to any questions.
Councilmember Gregory.
What is the age for the kids' camp?
So it's open to all ages. We've had a wide range. We've had some T-ball all the way up to some high school kids. Basically, our format and how we do that is we kind of come with a game plan on what we're trying to accomplish, but we open up to softball as well, too. So we do have softballs that are out there, and then we section them out basically all across the entire field, and then we separate them to the best as we can based off of their ages. So we put them in those groups and they'll kind of rotate together. So that way, the 5-year-olds aren't with the 15-year-olds or anything like that. Yeah.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
You have an idea when that date's going to be yet?
I believe it is on June. I could probably tell you. I have it right over there. Yeah. It's early June. It's usually the first Sunday in June, whatever that is. We try to do the kids camp on a Sunday just for work schedules and things like that. I think roughly around like 2:00.
Okay.
Right around there.
And then the next question I have for Mr. Clark or Mr. Smith, what did we give last year? I do not remember.
I do.
What's that? What? 2,000? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Councilmember Kurtzetter. Usually we, allocate $2,000 that pays for the field rental that USD 262 does charge them for the field for the entire season. So we budget for $2,000 to donate towards this cause.
Okay. I'd be okay with increasing it to like 2,500 personally. And also encourage the USD 262 to waive those fees to give back to the kids. But
And so, yes, just with anything, in that budget item, as we discussed, during the budgeting process, we'll just have to figure out the 500 from another cause. So just want to make sure you're aware of that.
Yep.
Absolutely up to you as council members to make those decisions.
Is there a motion? Okay, we have 2,000 in the budget for this. Just to
I make a motion to approve 2,000. Go to the Mud Daubers.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to donate $2,000 to the Mud Daubers for this season. Councilmember Kerstetter.
how, I just off the top of my head, how do you get other funding from?
So it's just dependent on community organization. One, it's a year-to-year thing for sure. So, I mean, we're a 501c3 nonprofit, obviously. And so we directly derive from player fees. That's the baseline revenue that we're able to bring in. So our goal is to year to year be able to lower those as low as possible. Obviously, they're college guys coming in from all over. So, and a lot of them are low income guys anyway. So we have to get creative in certain situations anyway. But so that's the baseline number of what it is. So we just look from a year to year perspective. We figure out, what's our roster number need to be at to keep it, flexible enough, but then also to get the baseline numbers to cover all the expenses. And that's pretty much it. It just goes straight across that way. So,
Okay.
Whatever those expenses come out to be, that's what we just try to flatten it out at.
was assuming you went out to the community and started asking for help also.
We do. Yeah. No, yeah. We definitely try to. Certain communities are just different. I mean, it's just, we have multiple organizations in different places. So we try to. One thing that's different about here playing on a school field in comparison to some other fields that are city ran fields, you can just do different things at them. And so that's part of that, equation as well too. But that's why from our outlook is we want to try and find more entertainment type style things that we can bring out to the game, right? So whether it's the fireworks show or some in-game entertainment, things like that to try and make it like, hey, let's come out, big league clubs are like bobblehead nights and things like that. But, for us, it's hard to have the upfront costs in there based off of the model, I guess.
Right.
So
Okay.
but yes, we definitely will ask and we'll be out there and doing the outreach. It's just dependent on where you're at and what goes on.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that you as council members might not be aware of, but we always have the Mud Arbor schedule on our app. And so we always make it, really easily accessible. We usually send a push notification at the beginning of the year saying, hey, the Mud Arbors new season's coming up. Find out all the information on the app, and then it's just linked to their website. So we try to help with promotional items like that. So it's not just monetary.
Okay. I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-2. Thank you. Item B, ordinance 1385-23, rezoning in Arbor Valley addition.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the first of two rezoning ordinances that will be presented this evening. I would note that Mr. Art Marquez, who is the applicant, is with us in the audience. This has been reviewed and approved by the city's Planning and Zoning Board. The first ordinance tonight encompasses the Arbor Valley subdivision. And as you'll recall, through the platting process, City Council did grant approval to use advanced wastewater systems as opposed to public sewer or public sanitary sewer. And so as part of that, as we are moving forward with Arbor Valley and preparing to issue building permits for new homes, it was discovered that these advanced wastewater systems do take up a lot larger space in terms of dedicated space that needs to remain open once these systems are installed. And in order to help with the development process and still make it possible for the future homeowners that are going to be buying these homes, in order to allow them space for a small shed, perhaps a pool, small accessory structures, in order to do that, we are requesting, or the applicant is requesting tonight, a change in zoning. So it currently is zoned RR1, which is the city's designation for suburban residential, going to R1B. This is still a single family district, so we're not changing the use in terms of multifamily. This is still strictly dedicated for single family homes. What it does is reduce the building setbacks to allow for more space to be utilized for buildings, moving from RR1 to R1B. Again, this has been reviewed and approved by the Planning and Zoning Board. For this particular ordinance, for this property for Arbor Valley, through the public notice process, this was published in the newspaper and letters sent out to the surrounding property owners. There was only one response and they were not opposed to the rezoning. So again, city staff, based on approval by the Planning and Zoning Board, does recommend approval for the first reading of this rezoning ordinance.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
Is this the same number of lots, just?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So nothing is changing on the plat. The roads are staying the same, the number of lots. It strictly just reduces by a few feet that building setback on all four sides of each lot.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 1385-23, rezoning property in Arbor Valley addition, first reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Thank you. I know you're not going anywhere. Item C, ordinance 1386-23, rezoning in Marquez Acres addition.
Again, this is property along Ford Street. So this is to the west and south of Arbor Valley. You'll see here the map on the screen. This is 4 lots and again was approved to utilize the advanced wastewater systems. So again, going from RR1 to R1B to allow for some additional buildable space on each of these 4 lots.
Questions?
Motion for approval of ordinance 1386-23, rezoning property in the Marquez Acres addition for first reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D, request to solicit bids for 2023 mill and overlay projects.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. What we have here, we're requesting to solicit bids for our ongoing mill and overlay strategy. We have an RFP out here for approximately 12,169 square yards of pavement. This would include 2 sections of street. One would be Meadow from Fieldstone to Parkway. That's the section that we were not able to do last year due to budget constraints. We would like to go ahead and get that included in. And then Second Street from Sheridan to Birch. This is substantially less than last year. There are some other projects. We are saving back some of these funds for some other projects that are needing funds to complete. And following years, we'll try to get these funds back, dedicated back to mill and overlay.
Questions from council? Is there a motion?
Motion for approval of RFP for 2023 mill and overlay improvements.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.
Item E, signature card update approval.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have hired a new city treasurer. Her name is Desiree Womack. She's here tonight. I'll let her come up and introduce herself, kind of speak a little bit about herself to know a little bit about her.
Mayor, Council. Again, my name is Desiree. I'm excited to be the new treasurer. I come from a background of property management along with accounting and procurement management. So far, everyone's been very welcoming. I'm excited.
Yeah, you got to wait for Mr. Picture Taker. She's got to wait for the Mr. Picture Taker. I don't want her to be in the middle of us saying something when you take a picture.
I'm jumping right in. I'm excited.
Well, welcome. I know we have met already earlier, like for your first day, I believe it was when I walked in. So we're excited to have you here. So welcome very much. Welcome very much. I got to get home.
First day was today?
No, her first day was, your first day.
Oh, the 17th.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
January
So
17th.
Barry wanted to make sure she was well prepared before she came up to the council. So
A lot of pressure on that first impression. No, she's been a great addition to the team. She's learning very fast, which is fantastic. So in December, we did update these signature cards. We did remove our previous city treasurer. And at that time, I said we will bring these back once we hired someone new, come on board. So we're just updating that motion to approve Mayor Cicerillo, Council President Anderson, myself, and City Treasurer Desiree Womack as signers on all eligible bank accounts.
I move to approve Mayor Lou Cicerillo, Council President Ben Anderson, Assistant City Administrator Barry Smith, and City Treasurer Desiree Womack as designated signers for all city bank accounts.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Now I think we'll take a 25.5-minute break and make sure everybody's times are blown. No. No, it would be. It would be. No, I sat here very quietly listening to all your times and decided, let's see who's going to be the latest to how long I'm going to have to delay the meeting. So, all right, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to staff reports. Councilmember Schrack.
Good evening again. All right, so it is that time of year to sign up to help run the home show booth. Again, the WABA Home and Garden Show will take place on March 2nd through March 5th. That is a Thursday through Friday. I do have the sign-up sheet with me this evening, so if anyone would like to get with me after the meeting, again, how this works is we will get a number of tickets and badges. So whoever does sign up to help run the booth, I will get those to you before your assigned time. What we do is we promote the city. So we promote our new subdivisions, our housing incentive program. We promote the school district, the community in general. We also hand out gift bags. So if any local businesses or anyone that you represent would like to include something in the gift bag, we'll be putting together 250 of those. If you do want anything included, I do need that by February 20th. That's a Monday. So do keep that in the back of your mind. But again, it'll be March 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So just get with me after the meeting if you would like to sign up, and thanks in advance.
Mr. Owings.
Wait, you have a.
Huh?
Matt had his light
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry, Matt. Do you have a question?
Third time this one.
It's because my bottle of water is blocking your, somebody's readjusting. No, don't, by all means. Yeah, you have a question.
Is a school district having people volunteer too?
Yes.
Like use water?
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This evening-
Trust me, I'm not trying to help anybody's time here.
Right?
Matt, don't mind the black duct tape he's got over your light over here. I see. It's just no big deal.
Is your light working? Maybe it's, no, it is. Okay.
We've got a few projects going on that I wanted to speak to you all about. First, our city entry sign at 85th and Broadway. Some of you may have been that way and noticed that we've been moving some dirt to get, and that's for the landscaping and some of the holes over there that we need to, touch up and grade out for that project. We've also recently, pardon me, reestablished the fence that was there. It got moved for the project, and it's now back on the right-of-way line there on that property. And also, we are preparing, some of you may have noticed some of the yellow flags that are out there along with all the other locate flags, but what those flags represent is where we're going to have trees out there. So we've been in the process of seeking out trees to be placed out there and taking quotes. So you'll see that happening fairly soon. So on that project. And then how many? Well, we're looking at about 27 right now. So it'll be a nice addition to the entry sign there as you come in. I mean, it'll really add to the whole effect of beautifying our entry point, that entry point into town, which is not only to just welcome you into town, but really to, say, hey, you're in Valley Center now. So, I'm excited about it, and I think it'll look nice. We're also making sure we leave enough space that if that ever expands, hopefully we'll have enough space in there for a side. We should have enough space for a sidewalk to run through there some year down the road when that, grows out that far. So, yeah, we took that into consideration as well. It's road expansions and roundabouts and different things like that. So, trying to maintain enough space there wherever we set trees at. So, the pickleball court conversion over at Lions Park, that's a project that you guys recently approved. That project is moving forward. City staff has been out making some preparations and taking down the old fencing that was there for the old basketball court area. And they've nearly got that complete in a couple of days. I mean, we've at least got all the fencing down and the top rails down, and we'll start pulling posts soon. So, anxious to see that project moving forward as well. And then as well over at the swimming pool, as you know, we've got a big project going on with the rec and aquatic center. Specifically, the Lions Park side of it is kicking off very well. They're in the process of sandblasting the vessel of the pool. We're anticipating a meeting a little bit later this week or very soon, so we can go in and inspect just to see how the cracks are that we've seen, if there's anything hidden or anything like that in there that we may have to also address during the project as well. But I think it's moving forward quite well. They've come out of the deep end and got all that for the most part blasted, and then they're starting down at they're in the 5-foot area, moving towards the west, towards the shallow end. So a lot of layers of paint down there. So Also, along the lines with the pool and rec project, we recently received the survey results. The survey results were returned late today, and the committee will be meeting tomorrow to discuss the full committee will be meeting tomorrow to discuss the, responses that we received there and talk about that. So if there's anything else, I forgot.
Well, we now know why he picked such a late time. But I do have a question before you walk away, sir. Councilmember Kerstetter has a question.
With regards to the trees on the entrance to, is that just on the south side of the road, or are we going to go into the north?
So the majority of the trees will be placed on off of 85th Street on the south.
Okay.
And just a few around the sign itself, one or two on the Broadway side, if you will, but mostly just right in that general vicinity of the sign.
Okay.
Not really moving down.
Because just correct me if I'm wrong, the north side is not really ours, correct? Okay.
And I deserve that one. Councilmember Stam.
What's the status on the sign at 77? Have we got anywhere on that yet, or is it still?
I'm going to need some assistance with that one, but good evening.
No, we are still working with that adjacent property owner and with PC on coming up with a legal description. We lost the battle with Evergy, and so I waved the white flag and surrendered. And so we are moving that sign slightly to the north from the original location. Just due to the drainage, there's a rural water line in that area too. So we got to move it a little farther north than we had wanted to, but it'll still look great. If you do drive by out there, there's T-post. One might have fallen over because we've been waiting a little ways or a little while for a legal description. And so, but it is in that location over there. The sign's done. It's sitting at George Lay waiting for us. And so as soon as we get moving on it, hopefully we will have that done before 4th Street's open, which is that July timeframe.
Thank you.
And I do have one more. I do actually have a question with the trees. We realize I know the answer is going to be yes, but we are making absolutely sure we're not going to screw up sight lines around that intersection, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We all know how bad it is, and that just the last thing I want to see is us putting trees in there that add to that problem. So
Exactly. Yep.
So
That's 100% safety. Minded in that regard, because we cannot afford to contribute to anything else going on there in that intersection.
All right. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Chief Newman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In July of 21, the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center applied for a grant through the COPS office to stand up a statewide accreditation program. Later that year, they received the grant and they drafted bylaws to begin the process. And then for most of 2022, they stood up an accreditation council, which I was through the Kansas Police Chiefs Association. I was part of that process. Their goal was to make a program as meaningful, obtainable, affordable, while advancing effective policing for all Kansas law enforcement agencies. They started taking applications early this year, and I signed us up for that. So we have began that process. They come up with 165 set of standards, best practices, laws, and what others in the industry are doing and are in law enforcement. And so we have 2 years to try to meet those standards. So we began that process. It's going to be a lengthy process and probably at times a hard process, but I think in the end, it's going to be better. It's going to force us or make us continue to strive to do better and to be better as a police department. So I look forward to the challenge. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm excited about tackling that challenge. So stand for any questions.
Nope, don't say any. Thank you, sir. Bless you. Mr. Eggleston.
So you'll have in front of you, Mr. Carithers was so nice to print out a copy of my status report. There was a slight error in the one we have on here. If you'll go down to where it says, on mine it says Cedar Ridge and yours should say Arbor Valley, and those statuses are actually correct for each project. I had that switched around in my copy, so hopefully that's correct. And then with that, I would stand for questions on my staff.
Don't see any. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Shear. Mr. Arbuckle. Mr. Smith. I'm just deciding who I want to win now. Now I'm deciding who I want to win, so. Mr. Clark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have nothing.
No, you were not on my list. Actually, I think his time's gone already. All right, we'll move on to governing body reports. And I hope you all know that I've always been more leaning to the side of quality of service that we give and that we get from our vendors. And I just want to ask the council, because this could just be me, is anybody else a little bit upset with Waste Connections and the service we're getting?
Waste Connections?
Yeah, we're Waste Connections now.
Oh, God.
There was, what really kind of got me was, am I the only one that did not know that if there's any recycling sitting next to the can, they will not take it?
I had a conversation with, like, when this first started, and the person told me when they were picking it up, I happened to be out there, and they said that they can't take it anymore. He let me throw it in the truck myself.
Yeah. And I know you and I kind of had a brief, and I know I'm kind of throwing you under the bus here because I didn't give you a heads up on this, but it just kind of irks me. And I realize it was also in my thoughts. So I'll let you bring up your incident.
My can't drive down a cul-de-sac in icy weather, quote unquote, with when they can. So I had it was trash and recycle day. I texted Brent about this, and one truck was able to make it down, but the other one said, no, I'm not coming down. That was my frustration. And they eventually came Wednesday or Thursday.
And, and you kind of think about a few of the other things. I mean, this isn't the only situation. We had other people in town that Waste Management was willing to go a little bit above and beyond to retrieve trash receptacles that Waste Connections refuses to do. So I don't know. Just little things like that kind of irk me, as in being in the service business all my life. And I know cost was a huge difference in the selection, but I'm now wondering, are we paying for that in the quality of service? That's my only take on this, is that only because I so much, take the amount of the quality of service we get very seriously. So
How many more years do we have of that contract?
There's a total of 5 years when we entered into it. With the annual automatic price increase, 2.5%, I believe.
What year are we in, though? I don't remember. Great question.
Is that third? Yeah, I think this is the third. I think it was 2020.
Okay.
I believe was it right before 21? Okay. I lost 2021 just in my mind, so I do apologize for, it was 2021. Thank you, Heather.
Okay. I just might keep something in the back of our heads to.
Absolutely. And I do want to address a few of those concerns, and not trying to, stand up for Waste Connections in any way, but, we do have a very close work relationship with them. I do feel like I can text or call at any time, our direct contact with Waste Connections, with Herschel Smith, who's our Herschel West. Herschel Smith used to work for us. Herschel West.
I was going to say, is that what he's doing now? Yeah.
He is always really quick to respond. Now with the recycling, I'll address that first. I agree with you. When they first initially started picking up the recycling, they did pick up outside of the dumpsters of the recycling side, even for myself. I remember that. And then that kind of wasn't supposed to be happening. And I believe that a few of the drivers or the routes that those were on, they had realized that was happening and stopped that, but didn't really give notice, then realized that it had been happening in our community across the entire city for a while. And so people were accustomed to that right when we started with Waste Connections. And so that was something where we didn't necessarily want to send out something publicly across the entire city because we weren't sure who was doing it, who wasn't, and then cause maybe more of an issue and more of a concern than previously on the outside of the actual recycling cart itself. Now, of course, on the trash side, they can still pile, up to 5 bags or 5 extra items, for no additional charge, and then $1 for extra bag thereafter. So, I mean, they're still doing a great job at that. They also do a great job at picking up, some loose items and extra things without charging you as well. I know I've done that myself. I've never been billed an extra $15 like it kind of states. However, there are some instances where they do charge an extra fee if it does take more than one person to lift that item in. So they're doing a great job at that. When it comes to the, not responding or not driving down a cul-de-sac, that is up 100% up to the operator and the driver of that truck in that moment of time to make that decision if it's safe or if they feel that they can adequately go into that area and then exit out safely. And in that case, with the ice, that particular driver just didn't. We texted, each other, and, that was responded to Wednesday right away as soon as they possibly could on Wednesday when they felt that was safe. Cul-de-sacs are tough when you got vehicles parked, double parked on each side of the street, and then you have an icy center. That's tough for any driver to try and navigate. When it comes to, their safety, they're always going to look out for their own equipment and their own trucks and not want to try to damage or hit residential areas, or residential vehicles. So, I mean, that one's always going to be tough, and not everyone's going to get it right. And then in response to just overall, we have been, very happy as far as when it comes to community involvement. They've been keeping up their end of the bargain when it comes to Fall Festival dumps, as far as the roll-offs that we receive, and also the donations that we do receive from them towards the community as well. So just that as a general overview of some of the things with Waste Connections. And if anybody ever has problems with them, please give us a call. And there's a number that prompts you straight to Waste Connections, or Heather Von Felt does a fantastic job at dealing with them in the utility billing.
So let's take this one a little bit step farther.
Okay.
I've had what spawned my initial conversation. So here I had a large box packed with a lot of other large boxes that were all recyclable. Where did they end up? Do I need to tell you where they needed to end up? They got slid across my driveway to the trash side. Why are we recycling? Clearly, we know that the recycle stuff does not go anywhere special. It all goes to the landfill. It all gets dumped in the same spot. Then why do we bother? I know it's a feel good thing, and people think it's getting taken care of, but I don't really feel it is. So that might be another discussion for another time. But those are my opinions. And Councilmember Bass has a question.
So I've had quite a few interactions with the collectors. I work at home 4 days a week. So, and then I'm home on Wednesdays when they pick up, and almost all of them are super helpful. It was actually, trash wasn't taken out next door, and he actually helped me go over there and help get my neighbor's trash on one incident. Can you talk to Herschel and see if they can perform better maintenance on their vehicles? We have permanent lines of hydraulic fluid or oil following the path of their vehicles through our neighborhood. And sometimes it is massive amounts. And you can see the lines where they stop to pick up the trash, big giant puddles of hydraulic fluid, go to the next house, and then there's lines going from house to house. So that's one of my big concerns.
Yeah, absolutely. I have not heard that yet. So
I will send you some photos the next time they come through.
Let us know. And I'm sure they want to make sure that those hydraulic hoses aren't leaking too.
Yeah. So that's my biggest issue.
Appreciate you letting us know. I'll text them tonight.
All right. I'll move along then.
All right.
Councilmember Stam.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Evans.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Bass.
Nothing from me.
Councilmember Gregory.
Nothing?
Councilmember Kerstetter.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilson.
No, but go Chiefs.
we have that stricken from the record, please?
For all you great Green Bay
I
fans, go
wish, I
Chiefs.
wish I had a motion. I could second that motion, but I can't. So,
And you Bear fans too.
yeah. Councilmember Colbert.
I've only got a couple things. One is, this is mainly for retirees and listed retirees and disabled veterans. They have House Bill 236 is coming out. It's going to be on property and in particular homestead property. That's one of them. The other is a legislative update is planning for Old Kansas Day at the Capitol is underway. Basically what it is, it's a legislative platform asking senior citizens to attend and mingle with the legislators at the Capitol on there. So if anybody wants additional information, let me know. Now, their definition of old age, I'm not sure about, so take it for there. Monday, just a reminder, if anybody wants to find out about the PACT Act, we are having a guest speaker come up from the from Veterans Affairs Office. And we also have one of the service officers that's coming up and doing a presentation on the PACT Act. If you're interested, please give me a call because we can only take so many. They don't want more than 20 or 25 people in a group because it'll take too long to make the presentations and stuff. So if you're interested, let me know before they come. And it'll be next Monday at 7 o'clock at the community center on there. Other than that, if there's no other business before the council, I'll make a motion to be adjourned.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.